Hopping on for day 8 of 14 days of self-love. I have skipped a couple of days. One, because my puppy was sick and had emergency surgery. So I had to skip a couple of days just to get my brain wrapped around my puppy being sick and him getting through his surgery. Okay, so he is feeling much better. He is home with me, so I can jump back on getting through the rest of this series. Plus, I knew nobody was going to be watching or looking at it live yesterday when the Super Bowl was on, so I definitely wasn't going to go on tomorrow on yesterday. I'm sorry, my puppy is underneath my desk, so I gotta make sure he's okay and not messing with his stitches. Alrighty, so let's jump right into day 8, self-love and confidence. So if you've been following me in my Facebook group, we have done different topics every single day, self-love and something. And so we are now Monday, the week of Valentine's Day week. So we will end the series on Sunday, and we'll definitely now get into some of the harder topics that that deals with mental health and sexual abuse and trauma. And I'll get to that a couple of days away from now. But today I want to talk about self-love and confidence. Now, in order to have confidence, well, in order for you to have confidence, you got to first learn yourself in order to love yourself, in order to be confident about yourself. Okay. And when you don't love yourself, you don't show up well or boldly or confidently, because fear is one of those things that will hold you back. The opinions of others will be one of those things that will hold you back if you don't practice if you're not learning how to love yourself and be confident while doing it. So when we talk about confidence, I need you to really understand that being confident means you trust yourself, your opinions, your gut, your decisions at all times. And when you start to love yourself, you will. Now, there are going to be times when people don't agree with your opinions. There are going to be times when people are going to dismiss you because you are overly confident. I go through that right now. There are tons of people who dismiss me constantly because I am overly confident. Okay. I don't back down from who I am. I don't back down from my opinions. I will take your opinions into consideration, but I am bold and confident in who I am as a person. So I really, don't probably get invited to many things as much as I should or like to, because of the fact that I'm just overly confident, but that took years of work, because I no longer worry about other people's opinions of me. And I no longer, and when you start to practice self-love, you will, and I've said this in several of the other videos, please go back and watch them on Facebook. Not on Facebook, or if you're in the group, you can watch them on Facebook, but go look at them on my YouTube channel. When you decide to start loving yourself, there will be times when you will not be invited someplace. You're going to have to get used to being your own company. And this is why so many people don't look for love within themselves. They're constantly looking for love outside of them because they're too afraid to be alone. Okay. And like I said previously in other videos, I'm my best company. I don't mind being alone. I don't mind not being invited. Okay. And we'll talk about validation and self-love this week, because I used to have to be invited or have people deal with me or talk to me because I needed someone to validate me. But I no longer need that. Okay. I don't need the validation from anybody because I am all that I need and God. Okay, so I no longer feel the need to be with other people, around other people. If they don't want me around, I like to consider it their loss. I'm a pretty cool chick. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, if you're not around me, you dismiss me, that's your hang up, not mine. But I'm not going to change who I am to fit in your tiny, tiny box of me. Okay, I don't do that. Okay, so when you decide to practice self-love, you're going to have to get used to people not dealing with you. They're not going to deal with you, because most of the times when you're around people right now, say if you're around friends right now or family members or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse, and you are comfortable in that situation, that means everybody around you got self-esteem and low confidence issues. If you are the better of your group, that means everybody around you has something going on with them. And if you decide to start working on your self-love and start working on your confidence, and these people decide to say, well, who do you think you are? Or we don't want to be around you anymore, you need to leave those people alone. Because you are who you hang around. You are who you hang around. So if you're hanging around with a bunch of women who trying to do what they need to do, you're going to want to do what you need to do too. If you are hanging around a bunch of people who ain't doing nothing, then that's how you are going to be. I'm sorry. It's just logic. Okay. And then, you can say, well, I just like to be friends with people. And there we go with that. What's my pet peeve? That I have a good heart crap. Let it go, people. Let it go. So let me tell you why you need self-love and confidence in order to maintain your positive lifestyle, in order to, get up out of your depression mode, in order for you to survive this thing we call life, because it's going to take some work. Okay. When you decide to be confident, you decide to stand up for who you are. Okay. There are going to be times, like I said, that people are going to pick on you. There are going to be times where people are going to dismiss you. There are going to be times where people are going to ridicule you. But if you are confident in yourself, you no longer argue with these people. Okay. When you decide to practice self-love and you become confident, you no longer argue with these people. You dismiss these people and you go on about your life. You let go people and you make room for new people. Okay. When you start to practice self-love and you become confident, you no longer are being pushed around by people who are supposed to love you, or by people who are supposed to care for you, by people who think that you should be a certain way in order to be with them. See, when you start practicing self-love and confidence, you become the leader of your pack, or at least you should be. Okay. Now that's not to diminish any of the friends that I have or who I'm around, or my husband or anybody, but they know what I bring to the table. So when you decide to practice self-love and confidence, you should be saying, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. Like it, take it, or leave it. But when you practice self-love and confidence, this is who you become. You start to speak up about yourself. You start to say to yourself, you know what? This is not how I'm going to do things. I'm going to do things the way I already am. See, because what happens is when you don't practice self-love and when you don't practice self-confidence, when you are around people, when you are at church, when you are on your job, when you are with your friends, when you are with your family, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you go along with the flow. Well, I just go along with the flow. Well, you know how my heart is. Okay, keep on doing that. And you're going to be going right off the cliff, going with the flow, behind a bunch of people who don't have enough self-esteem or confidence on their own. You're just going with the flow. I don't like going with the flow. Okay. The flow, if the flow ain't flowing right, I don't want nothing to do with you. Period. Because I practice self-love. I practice self-confidence. I no longer put myself in a box because other people want me to. So I don't come into a relationship where I have to be just like everybody else. That's not who I am. That's not who I was made for. I just can't do it. And when you start to practice self-love and confidence, you will feel the same way. Right now you're just going with the flow because you are too afraid to speak up for yourself. You're too afraid to assert who you are as a person. You're too afraid that you're going to hurt them. But 9 times out of 10, the people you're dealing with are already hurting you. You just sitting there because you got a good heart. 9 times out of 10, the people you are around right now that you have not decided to use your assertive, you have not decided to be assertive with, have already did you dirty, have already done you wrong. But you're going with the flow because of the fact you got a good heart. When you practice love and self-confidence, self-love and self-confidence, you no longer put up with crap like that. Okay? You start to say to yourself, I don't deserve this. I don't need to be around a bunch of people who I cannot express myself to. Okay? When you start that, you know that because you'll start to feel it yourself. There are certain places I don't go anymore with certain people because I just be like, I don't even like this. This is stupid to me. Not that I think I'm better than anybody else. It's just that I love myself enough not to put myself back in a box. I don't do that. I don't do that for anybody, and I'm not going to start now. Okay? It took me a long time to get where I'm at, and I'm not going back to the old place where I was the party girl, and I was the girl who didn't do anything and didn't say anything smart, all because I was just going with the flow. No. And guess what? When I started becoming this person, I lost people. But I also opened up the door for better people in my life. All right. Number 2, when you start to practice self-love and confidence, you stop procrastinating. Okay. You always say, we are into the second month of the year. And I've heard so many people tell me by December 31st, by this time, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's why I don't make New Year's resolutions because I don't have to, because I'm just going to do what I got to do. But 9 times out of 10, when you don't practice self-love and self-confidence, you procrastinate. You're procrastinating on every single thing you do, even getting out of relationships, even closing the door on things that need to be closed, even starting your businesses, even trying to do anything you want to do. You are procrastinating. You decide that, I don't love myself enough to start what I want to do when I said I was going to do it. So when you don't practice it, you procrastinate. Well, I'm going to do, because I heard all last year from a lot of people, December 31st by the time December 31st was going to be over, January, February was going to be their year. I know these same people right now not doing nothing because they don't have the confidence in themselves. If you see it in the description, I think I put it in the description that the English dictionary says that self-confidence means to trust yourself. Okay? They're not confident enough to trust their ideas. They're not confident enough to trust who they are as people. So when you don't practice self-love and confidence, you procrastinate on everything. You got a biz, you got the whole thing planned out. You already know what you're going to do. You already got the website. You were supposed to get ready to launch, but you step back because you don't have confidence in yourself. You don't love yourself enough to say, I don't care if this website crashes tomorrow. I don't care what happens. I'm going to put it out there. For those who follow me, know when I started my t-shirt business, I keep telling the story over and over and over. 2 people called me when I launched my website for my Shopify website for my t-shirt business. I've never been on Shopify before. I've never even started a t-shirt business. 2 people came back to me and said, well, we couldn't get on it because this was happening. And somebody else told me something else was happening. I didn't give up. I believed in who I am and in my talents as a t-shirt maker. And I went and fixed the problems, and I still put the t-shirt business out there. I did it. I did it within 3 weeks because I believed that I could do it. I was confident in my products. I was confident in who I was as a person. I was confident that this was going to work for me. And guess what? If it doesn't work for me, then I'll try something else because I'm confident in my talents. When you practice self-love, you do not procrastinate on the things that you say you're going to do. You say you want to get out of this relationship. but you're procrastinating. You know why you're procrastinating? Because somewhere deep in your mind, you feel like, I really don't love myself enough to step out on faith, because what if that doesn't work? What if this relationship doesn't work over here? I always got this. No, it doesn't work that way. That's just like with marriage. You don't get married for 2 months and say, well, you know what, this didn't work out. So now, granted, that's how some people are, but you have to stay in it for the long run, because you can't be what if. See, when you procrastinate, you're always thinking, what if? What if this doesn't work out? What if this? Because you don't trust yourself. You don't love yourself. You're not confident in who you are as a person. So if you know that you want to end a relationship, you know that the relationship is not working for you, then step out. Because just like how you met that person, you can meet somebody else. But I promise you, when you start learning how to love yourself and be confident in who you are, you won't have to wait long, because people will line up. But right now, you can't, I used to have someone that I mentored who always asks, and I know some of you all probably seen it, where are all the good men at? Where are all the good men at? I used to hear this all the time, especially, and a lot of people come to me too about my husband. And so, well, does he have a brother? Does he have friends? He got friends and a brother, but that don't mean they him. You know what I'm saying? They want to latch on to who I got, because they're not confident and they're not bold enough and they don't practice self-love, so they can't find anybody. There are good men out there and there are good women out there. You're not going to find anybody because you don't practice self-love. You don't have any confidence in you don't have any trust in yourself, so you can't find anybody. Yeah, you're going to always find busters. You're going to always find men who don't do nothing for you, or women who just slack and ripping and running the streets, because you don't love yourself enough, so you settle. So when you start to practice self-love and confidence, you don't procrastinate on getting out of relationships that no longer serve you. And that's goes for boyfriend, girlfriend, friendships, co-worker relationships, church relationships, whatever that's holding you back, family relationships. Stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. If you know that this is not good for you or your mental health, get out of it. Stop coming up with excuses. So you make excuses where you don't love yourself or where you don't have any confidence, because it's better for you to just say that this might happen to justify being where you're at. You justify being stuck because, well, I don't really have the money like this to start my business. Well, what was you doing last year? Because you told me December that you were starting your business and this year was going to be your year. So what were you doing all last year to come up with the money to start your business? What were you doing all year last year? You say you want to start a podcast. It don't take that much money to start a podcast. It damn sure don't take that much. Matter of fact, I don't think it take money at all. I don't think I started my podcast with any money at all at first. I think the only thing I bought was my domain at first. The same thing with my blog. I just started writing. I didn't spend a bunch of money on it, but I was confident in who I was. And I'm not a writer at all. I say this all the time too. I write like I talk, but I started the blog and I got better over time. Like I said, you could go back and read the blog from 3 years ago and you could see my growth. I started learning things I needed to do. I just didn't procrastinate. I had confidence that I wanted to say things to people. I needed to say things to people, and this is what I was going to do. So when you decide to practice self-love and confidence, you no longer procrastinate on the things that you need to do that are going to be beneficial for your life and for your mental health. All right, and number 3, I don't know why I try to read without my glasses. I don't know why I do that at all. All right, you no longer want to hang around people who don't practice self-love yourself. When you start doing this, you no longer want to hang around people that, woe is me. Every time you're around them, woe is me. Okay? When you start practicing self-love and confidence, like everybody around me gets, we all just straight, just everybody, we might have, some of our problems, but when we're together, we don't talk like that. There's no woe is me. in my circle. Okay. When we are all together, I can remember when we just sit in the living room. I told you this, for Christmas, we got all dressed up for Christmas to sit right here. But even when we're not doing just the sitting here before the pandemic, we get all dressed up just to go sit in somebody else's house or go to a nice restaurant. Everybody around me loves themselves, is confident in themselves, and we don't have the woe is me caucus. There's nobody, and the person that was in our clique that was doing the woe is me, we got rid of. Okay? So when you start practicing self-love and when you become confident in who you are, you're not going to want to sit around people who are not confident. Again, it's not that you think you're better than everybody else. You just don't want that negative energy in your spirit. So you start protecting your energy. So you no longer answer the phone for old girl because the only thing she's calling you about is her boyfriend or something, she ain't got no job, or you don't want to hear that stuff anymore. You no longer want to hear that. You want to be around people because right now to this day, I follow women that are literally like straight doing it. My timeline is full of women that are empowering to me, that I say, this is who I am going to be in my new life now that I'm retired. I no longer am the housekeeper, or the manager over that particular business. I've done that for 20 years. That's who I was. Now I'm in my new life as a coach, and I look at other coaches. So I don't hate. So when people tell me, well, girl, you didn't see this video on YouTube, or well, you didn't see this, I don't have a bunch of foolishness in my feed. See, when you start practicing self-love and confidence, you weed out all that crap in your feed. And you start following people that every time you go down your timeline, I don't care if it's in your Instagram, your YouTube, your Facebook, every time you go down your feed, you see nothing but empowerment. Period. When you start practicing self-love and confidence, you no longer follow people who smoke blunts on their pages. You no longer follow people that are doing the things that you used to do. Now, I don't have a problem with you smoking blunts. You just don't have to do them on my page. So I don't have to be your friend, period. You can do anything you want to do on your page. But when I open up my timeline in the mornings, I see nothing but positivity. I don't want the negative spirits in me, period. And that's how it should be. When you start practicing self-love, when you start being confident in who you are, you start to follow other confident people. Okay? And you can see who's confident and who's not. That's not hard to do either. But you don't have to, I no longer want to see a feed of mine with people cussing and fussing all the time. I don't want to see a feed with the busted challenge all the time. I follow women that I say to myself, this is my goal. These are my goals. This is where I'm going to be. Now, I'm not going to be like them per se, because every one of us are different. I have a different coaching style. I have a different way I go about things. These beautiful women have a different way they go about things. But I like following these women because they inspire me. Remember, I have a past. Some of these women that I follow don't even have a past. So they don't even know what it's like to come from being an ex-stripper and being raped. They don't know how that comes. So I have a story. I'm different from these women. But I follow them because they have come from nothing and worked their ways up. So when you start to practice self-love and confidence, these are the people who you follow. And as of today, if you're going to be on the self-love journey, I don't give a damn if you got 4 friends left on your page. You need to go down checking off some people. Get them weeds up out of there. Because in order to heal and grow and transform, you're going to have to weed out all of those weeds. Okay? Because you're not, what are you getting out of it? Well, just because we're Facebook friends. There are a lot of my family members I still don't follow because I don't like the foolishness on their page. And I tell people all the time, don't tag me in nothing. Don't tag me in nothing if it's foolishness. Don't tag me. I will politely untag myself. because I don't want it on my feed. Do whatever you want. And I even said this to my own sister one time. Me and her, we live different lives. We do different things. And she tagged me one day in my birthday post, and I nicely, unpolitely tagged myself out of it because 15 people on that page who I used to deal with, who I used to see back in the day, were like, oh, we was looking for you. We ain't seen you. Know the hell you were. But see, you still didn't see me because first off, they didn't know my name because I changed my name on Facebook. But they also didn't see me because I no longer want them on my feed. And I like to say too, why do you want to be friends with me on Facebook and Instagram when you didn't even like me in high school? You had nothing to do with me in high school. All of a sudden now we want to kick it? No, you want to be nosy. So I don't want you on my feed. I don't want to see you, what you're doing. I don't care to do that anymore because I practice self-love. I practice self-confidence. I like nothing but positivity in my energy and in my spirit. And when you decide to start on the self-love journey, you will protect your energy at all costs. I no longer tolerate foolishness. I just don't. I don't like to hear it. I think it's idiotic. Doesn't make me better than you. I just don't. I can do what I want to do because I protect me. And I'm confident that if I get rid of you, somebody better will come along. And that's what you're going to have to get in your head. Okay, well, if I get rid of if I weed out all the people that smoke weed on my page or dance on my page, I ain't going to have no friends. Not my problem. Not your problem. Get rid of those people because when you become confident, you can start following people that make you feel confident. Start following people that make you want to be better. You're already on this journey of self-love, and the only way you're going to get better is if you continue to follow other people and see their journey. Tell me what a busted challenge is doing for you. Tell me what the person that's smoking weed on your page doing for you. I got a bunch of entrepreneurs on my pages. I got a bunch of women empowerment speakers and motivational speakers and men who are just doing things. These are the people that I follow because I confidently know that someday those people or the people that's coming up behind me will look to me and do the exact same thing. Follow me. One of these days, I'll be the woman to follow. So you start with your feed. Then you start weeding out the people in your life. But when you start practicing self-love and confidence, I promise you, when you get on this self-love journey, you're not going to have to weed them out. They're going to fall off. I promise you that. You won't have to get rid of them. They'll just fall off because you'll be different to them. When they're not practicing what you're practicing, they will be different. You will be different from them. And then that's when you're going to get all of the things, the guiltiness, or you think you're better than this and you used to do this. So what? You're right. People change. And for those who don't want to change, why would you want to be around people who don't want to change? I don't grasp that concept. Why do you like staying the same? Why are you waking up every morning with the same problems, with the same people, and the same crap going on? Every morning I wake up, the one thing I don't have in my life now is drama. I don't have it. I wake up in the morning, I do what I need to do, I go about my day in my life. I don't have the drama in my drama in my life. I just don't have it. I no longer want it. I don't care to tolerate it. It doesn't make me no better than you. I just want my peace. And when you start practicing self-love and when you become confident in who you are as a person, these people will no longer want to be around you. And it doesn't make you a bad person because you got to stop thinking about the guilt of it. Well, this is my ride or die. I knew them since and I was with them forever. Oh, that's my family. Okay, keep on. And then apparently you want to stay that way. Because you can't be wanting to change and want better for your life, but let me keep the people that are disrupting my peace in my life. You can't want a new life and want to be better, but let me hold on to this family member because you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You cannot think that you're going to change them when you're changing. It is not going to work. Now, maybe if you decide to change and get better at who you are as a person, they may come along and say, okay, you chilling, you going to church, or you going to seminars, you trying to do you. Okay, but maybe this change thing ain't a bad thing. That can happen. But if it doesn't, you have to let go of the guilt and keep it moving, because this is about you and about you only. And only you can transform from within. They can't help you, and you can't help them. You have to do things for you. And when you start practicing self-love, it's going to be all about you for a change. Okay? So that's it. That is it. All right. This is day 8. We got a couple of more days to go. I'm getting excited about the next couple of days because I'm going to go into some really, really tough topics about self-love and trauma, self-love and abuse, because a lot of the root of some of our problems come from the fact that while we can't love ourselves, it comes from the fact that we had some deep, dark, secret things that we had to get through. I was one of those people. So it took me a long time to start loving who I was as a person, because I had so much trauma in my life. So it took me a long time to get to this point, but it was worth it. It's worth it. It was totally worth it. So we'll talk about those things throughout the week. Continue tuning in, for the rest of the days. We'll end on Sunday, the 14th, on V-Day. I'm actually going to put out my old podcast that I know steps on some toes when I did this podcast, but I'm going to re-put this podcast out because it really continuously means the same thing it did 2 years ago when I said it. And it's about, what does your Valentine's Day gift say about you? Because you never think about that, do you? Like, why my man always giving me something off the side of the road? Those baskets that they put out every year. If your man ain't thinking about getting you a present that he knows that February 1st, he has 13 days to get it together, and you getting just the gas station rolls or that stuff off the side of the road. Let's talk about what your Valentine's Day gift says about you. Okay. So like I said, I stepped on a couple of toes on that one, and it's a good podcast. I got a lot of people call me like, well, hey, email me like, well, you already know. Oh, okay. All right. It made sense. If you think about it, what does your Valentine's Day gift say about who you are as a person? So I'm going to re-release that podcast today. I'm going to do that today. And you can listen to it from now until Valentine's Day. So when you're getting ready to, y'all start thinking about these gifts, think about your self-love, about yourself. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. So you can't be upset with your spouse if your spouse don't do anything for you. You can't be upset with your spouse if they wait till the last minute and bring you the gas station rolls. You can't really say anything about your spouse because he's only doing what he was allowed to do, or her. You teach people how to treat you. Okay? So have a great rest of the night. That is it. I thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, y'all know I can't see the comments without my glasses. And I don't like to put the glasses on because it's always a glare with my glasses. But hey, Dontrell, thank you for tuning in. Everybody here, yeah. Oh, love your point. Do not tolerate foolishness. Love confident and strong women. Yeah, I no longer put up with foolishness. I have no tolerance for it at all. I just don't. I don't deal with folk. Either you with me or you against me, but I could care less. I do not tolerate foolishness. I don't want to hear it. I don't deal with it. I keep it moving. Okay. I don't get up in the mornings with drama. I'm not going to bed with drama. I've had that life. I've been there. I've done that life already. It wasn't a good life. It drove me crazy. It drove me to drinking. It drove me to a mental hospital. I don't want that life anymore. Okay. I no longer want that life. And I don't want that life for you all. And if you're looking to be coached or mentored through your journey of trying to heal and grow and transform, please, you can hit me up at any time. You can. So if you cannot do this by yourself, you need somebody to push you. Please, I am that coach. Okay. I take no tolerance. I am a no tolerant coach. I have no tolerance for excuses. There are too many great women out here that have great talent that are not using their talent because they're hiding behind the lack of confidence, the lack of self-esteem. Hey, I think Dontrell is in my group. She's a confidence coach. Go to Dontrell. She's a confidence coach. I only deal with it from the mental health standpoint of it and the business on my side. But, there are a lot of women out here who are rooting for you. There are a lot of women out here who want to see you love yourself and be confident. You don't always have people that are against you. Women who are always constantly saying, you always got a problem with somebody. Girl, no. When you grown, when you start practicing self-love, you no longer have tolerance for foolishness. Okay? So have a great rest of the night. I will see you all back here tomorrow for tomorrow's is self-love and validation. That's going to be one of my favorite topics as well. If you have not caught this in my Facebook group, you are missing out on all of the other goodies like the worksheets and the journal prompts. You're missing out on all of that stuff. So you need to join my group if you want to get the last little bit of what's going on. And also continue to look at it on YouTube. If you just hit the subscribe button and the little ringy thingy, you'll always know when I'm coming on live so that you can watch it as well. Like I said, replay these things. When you are getting depressed and down and out, replay my podcast, my videos, my lives, just replay them, because I am trying to make sure that every woman that touches me, that is around me, is going to be just as successful as I am. And I want to take all of these women with me, but you are going to have to learn how to love yourself and be ready for everything that you have been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting to go after. You are going to have to be ready for this. Okay? So have a great rest of the night. Thank you all for tuning in, the ones that tuned in live. Thank you. I will see you all back here tomorrow for day 9, self-love and validation. Have a great night. Bye.